From Disney Parks blog, new color palette announced for Cinderella Castle. That's the thing, folks. They're not saying that this repaint is going back to old colors. They're saying that it's a new color palette.
Well, yeah, Vash, they can't say that, because then it would be they made a mistake, and they've never made a mistake.
Yes.
And obviously pictures online can be altered and can come through in funny ways, but dang, but that's Cracker Barrel beige in that picture on the upper battlements of the castle, isn't it?
You might be more right than you know, Lou. August 31st, 2025 on Disney Parks blog. I will say, I rarely go to Disney Parks blog, but in this case, well, they put up something that is, well, worth talking about. Wyatt Winter, exclusive producer here. For more than 50 years, Cinderella Castle has welcomed guests down Main Street, USA, at Magic Kingdom during the, quote, Beyond the Spires, an insider look at Disney Castles panel at Destination D23. Whew, they just love those long titles.
Beyond the Spires.
Beyond the Spires.
Oh,
Galaxy's Edge? No, it's castles. Okay. Imagineers looked back at the various overlays and color schemes for Cinderella Castle over the years. Imagineers also shared a rendering for the new Cinderella Castle color palette, which is inspired by the classic and original look of the castle. The updated paint will feature grays, creams, blues, and touches of gold, aiming to enhance the castle's architecture. While the project team is still putting the finishing touches on the paint design process, we wanted to share the incredible amount of research and care that goes into this project. And the rest of the article basically details the history of Disney's iconic castles at their various theme parks around the world. But guys, this 50th paint scheme that they applied, believe rose gold was the inspiration for it. It was, I mean, people had their thoughts and comments on it at the time, but as I think time wore on, it became more hated. And I think, let's see here, I think Trist here on Twitter actually goes into some detail as to what that castle kind of looked like, and at least their impression of what that castle may look like in the future. My question to you is, guys, look, this is a nice bone to throw for fans, I suppose. But they should have been doing this years ago, I would think. I have a theory as to what might be going on here, but I kind of want to hear from you, your initial thoughts on this story and whether or not this team is going to be doing right by Cinderella.
So,
Vash, there are no mistakes at Disney. There are only happy accidents.
So when they first painted it for the 50th, I was okay with it because I was there for the 25th and I saw that in person when they turned the castle into a big pink birthday cake. So I'm like, you know what? New color scheme for the 50th. I don't hate that. They've done it before. But then when it stuck around, I was like, oh, no, this better not be like, what we have from now on. And I thought they were trying to bring it more in line with almost looking like what Sleeping Beauty Castle looks like with the color scheme. But I think that's a deeper pink, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the blues are a little more vivid too, I think.
Yeah.
So,
but there's one factor,
a lot of purple now,
that they never had to consider in the past that they have to now, and that is, how does it take the projections?
Yes,
you've got really dark surfaces. They're not going to work with the projection mapping the way that they do.
Right.
So,
I think it's hysterical though that they keep saying that it's a new color palette. It's new. It's brand new colors. It's not new. You're bringing back the old color palette, but they can't admit that they're bringing back something old, because then we win. The old people that complained win. So it's not that, okay, we hear you. It's not like a Cracker Barrel thing where it's like, we hear you, we're going back to the way things were. It's, hey, we have this great new idea to make the castle gray and blue.
It's interesting. I look at something like this, and yeah, the rose gold color that they applied for the 50th, it didn't really go well. I understand they wanted to do something a little bit different for that 50th anniversary, and it was what was supposed to be a big mark for the history of Walt Disney World right there. Unfortunately, it didn't actually come up to par, which is really unfortunate there. But Lou, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is one of the reasons why the castles now, especially when they're adorned with celebratory, attire or architectural details, that's why it's a little bit more minimalist than in prior years, because they obviously don't want to have to rescan an entire castle or facade like this in order to play those projected pieces onto a surface like this. So that I think is really, really important right there. And also too, they remember the 25th anniversary, and that was a birthday cake, and it's like, well, we can't do that anymore. They lost so much money when it came to the establishment of the the Grand Flow wedding pavilion. That was not good. So many brides going out there and saying, oh, this is going to be perfect. And then the day of, they have a pink birthday cake. Not good. Ron, your thoughts on this particular story, sir?
Well, I'm very happy that they're finally getting rid of the 50th anniversary stuff. I mean, the whole point, like, I'm like, they actually scrapped the sign for the 50th anniversary pretty soon after the 50th was like had its official ending, which I believe was, what was it, March of 2022. Because they planned on a 1.5-year celebration. And I know that a lot of times when they do these celebrations, some things stick around years afterwards. The signage coming into Walt Disney World, where it said "Where Dreams Come True," that was actually part of the Year of a Million Dreams. It started way back in, I want to say, like 2005 or something, and they left that there for years and years later, and then changed it for the 50th back to the most magical place on earth. That's what it's supposed to be. And it's only today that I've been looking at some of the comments about this, where just a small handful of people, not surprisingly females, all are saying, "Oh no, I'm gonna miss the pink so much." I'm like, "Well,
oh no,
there's a few princesses
Ron, you
out
stepped
there."
over a line there, baby.
What?
Not surprisingly. Ha!
No, I meant that
I know.
Female princesses. They, like, I get it, but I mean, like, I don't. The pink aesthetic it's kind of jarring now. Well, like when during the 50th, I understood what it was for, and it was very particular, celebrating this moment in time. But there are certain pictures that we have, for example, of our baby in front of the castle when, like before he was born, and like me kissing Virginia's belly in front of the castle. And it's one of those things where you want that iconic look, that classic look to be there, maintained, so that you can go back years later and go and like look at the comparison. How is it now? And so I'm glad they're doing it. There's a lot of other things that if they're going to, let me put it this way. If the announcement also came with, "Hey guys, also the dream lights are coming back," I think it would be a much, much bigger deal.
I was about to bring this up. There's a lot of people that think the dream lights are going to come back now. Never, ever, ever happening. It's never happening.
Marvin, go ahead and describe what the dream lights were to people who might not be familiar with it, or maybe have forgotten since it's been so long that they have been gone.
The dream lights were a wonderful thing that happened around the holidays, and because they were wonderful and people liked them, they had to go away. So what happened was, in the fall, Disney would start hanging these lights, these twinkly lights on the castle, and it would light it up in a way that made it look like it was covered in ice. And it was tremendous, but they're never going to do, then there you go. They're never going to do that again, ever. Why? Because they're all in on projections. Projections are cheaper. They can do more creative things, supposedly, quote unquote, creative things. You know, the one thing they never do with the projections? Turn the castle into this, and they could.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, Marvin. If people think they're going to bring back the dream lights, look how long it's taken just to paint the castle. Okay, that should have been done years ago, and yet it's taken a long time for that. And I have a theory about this, guys. I have a theory about new paint schemes and, doing right by the fans, throwing them a bone. I really do think, guys, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, please. I really do think Disney likes certain things being in a, let's say, a reduced state. They like the fact that, some things that they understand are universally despised are the way that they are. Because I think every once in a while when there's not a lot to announce, or maybe they're getting heavily criticized online, they got a bone that they could just throw out there, and the Disney pixie dusters and everything else, they just go, "Oh yeah, this is amazing, this is great, I can't believe they're doing this," when it was always intended to do it. It's just they were waiting for the perfect opportunity in order to bring it out. Right. Guys, what do you think about that theory right there? I think we've seen this several times in recent years, but go ahead. I'd like to know your thoughts.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, yeah, absolutely, 100%. There's things, that the executives are going, well, okay, let's hold off on announcing the paint job because we're going to, we don't know what's going to happen, and we need that. We're going to hold it back because the fans love it when we do it. So we absolutely need to satisfy the fans. Now's the moment. You know what would really satisfy the fans? Announcing that you're going to fill back the rivers of America and not do the whole Cars thing, and you're going to bring back Frontierland. I don't think that's ever going to happen, just like the Dreamlights.
Lou, what do you think about that theory? I've just seen so much evidence of this.
A company that tries to make headlines out of popcorn buckets will stop at nothing.
That's such a good point. Marvin, go ahead.
Every little tiny twerk, you should pardon the expression, becomes a major news story. And of course, all the pixie dusters jump on board. That doesn't make it news. It just makes it annoying. Because you know what? If you have too many, it's the boy who cried wolf theory, right? You just keep doing it over and over and over again. People start saying, well, there's news, big deal. Yawn, sigh, move on.
Well, Marvin, I mean, look at Destination D23. We had a slew of announcements actually come out of there. A lot of them that a lot of people weren't anticipating, like the Tron Ares variation of Tron Light Cycle Run, for example. We saw Walt being added to the Carousel of Progress. We had a bit more description on what Villains Land might entail. We had all these kinds of things. And what are people talking about the most? We're talking about this.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
People like nostalgia. They like classic Disney. I mean, Disney knows people like nostalgia. They've been trying to cash in on it through Marvel for the last. It's the only way they've had success with Marvel for the last several phases. So it makes sense. But you know, and this is the thing that drives me crazy with the Pixie Duster crowd. I remember a Disney podcaster who praised Enchanted Tiki Room under new management like there was no tomorrow. It was the greatest thing Disney had ever done, was updating this because, you know, the show sorely needed an update. So what does Disney do after the fire? They announced they're bringing back the regular Enchanted Tiki Room. And the same podcaster was like, bravo, Disney, give the people what they want. It's about time. And I was just like, it's so disingenuous and stupid. I can't handle it. But yeah, I mean, they throw you the bone under the guise that it's something new. They're not going back. They didn't make a mistake. It's something new that that just happens to resemble something old. They added some creams in there, so it's not the same.
Well, you want to talk about resembling something old? There's always my Blooming Onion Villains Land comparison. So,
yes, and we'll be talking about that much more on That Park Place. I can assure you of that. But folks, don't take the bait. Don't look at this and go, "Oh, look, they did something very nice for us." This is what they always should have done. They're just doing it now because they didn't have anything else to showcase at Destination D23.
And by the way, what it means is that if they put semi-permanent cranes up there while they're doing this, everybody's classic shooting up Main Street at the castle shot's going to be ruined for what, 6 months, a year and a half, because it's going to have all these
$1 million
cranes.
question. How long is this paint job going to take? Because they've shown us that it takes like what, a year to renovate a bathroom at this point. Like, how long is this going to take?
Better take 6 months.
I don't know. It could be 6 months, Ron. I remember the 50th paint scheme going up within a couple of months, I think, but it was just like in layers, and it took a while. So I have no idea how long this is going to take. Just understand, if you notice a crane or any other infrastructure or equipment around there in your shot, well, now you'll know why. And by the way, I think the biggest announcement that they might be saving for a time in which they, want to go ahead and go forward with it and really need to earn back fan loyalty and trust, my money is on the Imagination Pavilion.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.